There we go. Now I'm here, and I'm so glad you are here. Let's get our Instagram friends in on this. It takes them a few seconds longer to join us, but let's do it. Hey, everybody. I'm Liz. It is a live Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Let's get into the day, shall we? As you can see in the corner, I'm from Megas Books. And we always start with the fun stuff of what am I drinking? What am I wearing? And I always often have the second reaction of what is going on with that hair? But you know what? I'm just letting it do what it does. I got cranky at some point and I'm like, yeah, I'll have to put up with what it actually does. I'm sorry. That said, what am I drinking? Ooh, I did not sleep well last night, so I kind of pulled out all the stops. I have 3 of the ingredients for Four Gentlemen's Decoction in here. Four Gentlemen's Decoction, I hear you asking. It's a cornerstone formula in traditional Chinese medicine. I don't have any atractyloses, or I would have added it, but it's got the other 3 ingredients. Is it a decoction that I'm drinking? No, it's tea. It's just steeped. Will I get as much out of it as I possibly could? No. But is something better than nothing? You better believe it. So there's some black tea in here, and there's some gotu kola in here, and some ginkgo, and then those 3 ingredients, which are the ginseng, just a little bit. I do not need a lot of ginseng. I just do not need that. You don't want to see me on a lot of ginseng. It would not be good. And some eleuthero, and some, I'm forgetting and blanking. I also have in ashwagandha, which is another herb in there, but fabulous, actually kind of a perfect fall flavor tea. It's kind of got this hearty broodiness to it because there's so many roots in it. Oh, and I'm going to need it today. And what are we wearing? Well, today I just have some jewelry on. These are all from Tracy's Treasures. Ooh, that one's not showing off very well. So I've got some very pale, beautiful faceted amethyst on. A little amazonite teardrop-shaped beauty. What were you? Oh, you're kunzite. On this pinky, I have some kunzite. Isn't she gorgeous? And on this one, some labradorite. So let me see if I can see how it changes like your perception of what it looks like when it moves and reflects the light. Labradorite does that, and larvikite does that. They're both beautiful, beautiful stones. So if you love them, come grab them. The ones on my pinkies tend to be 5s. Just in case you're wondering. The ones on my ring fingers tend to be, what size are you? 10s. And the 5s don't really fit my pinkies. They only fit because I can shove the price tag in there. I'm just showing you the beautiful things we've got that people have brought in for us. Now, if you are looking for stuff, I have some cool stuff that has come in and some stuff that's not quite out yet that I'm going to show you in a second. But the Athames are back, all the way from the teeny tiny Tammies. Why do I call it a teeny tiny Tammy? It wants to grow up to be an Athame one day, but it's tiny, so it's a teeny tiny Tammy. And all the way up to these big beauties. Even sounds good coming out of the sheath, doesn't it? So those all came in. There's a whole bunch. There's a whole display case right by the register. Come check it out. Kind of over by the wildberry incense. You know the ones. And then I've got a few things I want to show you from some folks who are coming back to consign with us again. And they're very excited, and we are very excited to have them back. So these are local folks who hand make their jewelry. And when I say hand make, I include that chain. So these are gorgeous, gorgeous pieces. But they are priced like someone in the area took the time to hand make them. So this one's marked up at $55 to give you an idea. There are simpler pieces. I just wanted to show off some of the chain work. And here's another one, just so you can see this one. Oh, so cute. How much is this one? This one is $65 because of the extra work to get those cute beads in, I am sure. And the really fine work on the wire wrapping. It's just, they do exquisite work. You can tell they're practiced and really good at what they do. And that is just one half of the team that's happy to be back. Let me show you the artwork. And I should say, you're not going to see me for a second because I want to show this lady off. This one is called Isis. It is one of the small tapestries they make. This is not AI. This is the artist's work, and he works with local models, some of whom are not this young anymore, but you'll get that in a second. So let me just do a slow rise. Is she not gorgeous? One of the readers has already said, oh, she's got to be the one that goes over the reading area for display. You can only have her until one of you guys grab her and get her to take her home. But there's all kinds of fairies and goddesses and beautiful gowned women in these tapestries. They're just delightfully done. And while they're not meant for outdoor use, they hold up really well to sunlight. And one of the things that the creator Todd told me, and by the way, they'll be in here, Todd and his wife will be in here in a couple of weeks for an interview. One of the things he told me was he loves to hang them facing inward in front of a window because they begin to look like stained glass. Isn't that cool? So I totally recommend coming maybe even this weekend and checking out some of the tapestries. They're just delightful. They will not hold up to normal outside wear and tear, but they will absolutely hold up to sunlight. So the dyes work really well in them, and that's beautiful. He said he has some hanging on his porch, and I could see that. I could see a little privacy hanging on the porch. That would be so cute. Mind you, I have a covered porch, so in my head, that's what I envision. I've got like a little extension right out the front door for like a mini deck, a small deck. But in addition to new things coming, I am going to tell you about some things that sadly are going. These are things that have been discontinued by the publisher, one of the publishers we work with. And I have maybe some good news about one of them, but if you are in the market for an oracle deck and you're feeling particularly empathic as a human, I think we have 2 copies of these left. This has been discontinued by the publisher. Another one, if you're feeling those Celtic roots or the call of the Celtic world, this has been a stable, steady deck for us for a very long time. It's much beloved, but it is going. When we are sold out, it is gone. Same with the Animal Totem Tarot. Now, these 2 are both kits, the Celtic Tarot and the Animal Totem Tarot are both kits. So this one's running $31.99, for example, where the decks tend to be a little lower in price. We're already out, I think, of one of the Encyclopedia of Witchcraft and Wicca already gone from what I can see. But that one, we'll have more on in a second. Lucid Dreaming for Beginners. Bye-bye. Also, Dream Interpretation for Beginners. They have been, sadly, let go. I Ching for beginners, also going by the wayside. You're wondering what I Ching is? I get that. It is from China, and it's what's called a hexagram method of divination. Let me show you one. So this is what the figures look like. It's 2 stacks of 3 lines. The lines are either solid or they're broken into 2 pieces, like you can see right there. And how those line up matters. Now, there's a lot of history behind this. Some people think it started with pulling a turtle shell out of the fire after you'd cooked a turtle and looking at the cracks in the shell. That's one of the things they think happened as a basis for how I Ching developed. But it became something that you could do with a toss of even a coin, but usually you do 3, so you get the first half and then the second half of that 6-line figure. And then each one of those figures has some lore attached to it. So, well, gosh, for example, let's look at Shifting the Burden. Ooh, and what's that one look like? It's got a broken line on the top and the bottom, and then 4 solid lines in the center. So this is a sign that you're smart enough to figure out you've reached the end of a road, that you've gone as far as you can with this thing, and it's your best bet really is to move on. So it's about taking a minute to rest, take a break, just get your head clear so you can make that new plan that you need to make. Is enough? When is it enough? These are the kinds of things you think about. Have I reached my limits on something? Can I take those skills and transfer them somewhere else so that they can be better used? Those types of things. And this book even goes like line by line through the figure to tell you how that impacts the interpretation. of the I Ching hexagram you're looking at. So if you're interested, it's a handy little beginner book, and it is bye-bye. I can't get another copy when this one's gone. They're all gone. And another one that's going that was a big hit over the last couple years for us was Goddess Alive. This one is by Sky. I want to see her first. Nope, just says Sky on the side. I can't remember her first name. It's a very, very nice look at 13 goddesses and how to interact with them, all kinds of information and folklore about them. It's a well-researched little book. It's delightful if you are so inclined. And really, for a while, I couldn't keep it on the shelves, and now it's going. Sorry, that's my last copy, and when it's gone, I can't get any more. But I also mentioned the Encyclopedia of Witchcraft and Wicca by Raven Grimassi. We don't have it. It is discontinued. However, Raven Grimassi passed not that long ago, and the estate sold the rights to a different publisher. So we have a number of Raven Grimassi's books if you're looking for them. Not that one in particular, but there's every reason to think that when I get to be able to order from that publisher again, they may have that book available. So maybe that one's really gone. Maybe it's not, just so you know. So in any event, my schedule is all haywire this week, so my guest is not here. So I thought I would answer a question I get asked a lot here in the shop. Oh, sorry, I'm totally forgetting a couple things before we even get to discussions. I apologize. The readers. Exciting news about readers, if you have not heard, is we have 2 new readers, and we just added 3 readers recently as well. So there's 5 new readers in the shop. We've got some spots that we had not had filled for a while, and they are all full. And it's kind of really cool and exciting to see the readers that have come in and the diversity of readings you can get now. It's probably the most diverse group we've had. So we have Eshu on Sundays. So he'll be here on Sunday, and actually Eshu will be here. Wes is his name, Wes Eshu. He'll be here today as well, noon to 6. And he'll be here for the first part of Thursday, tomorrow. He'll be followed, on Thursday by Heather. She's a fun young reader. So Eshu, I have to say, is a trip to get a reading from before I go on, because I've never seen anyone be as much of a storyteller while doing a tarot reading, clearly led by intuition and where the cards guide him, but not trapped hardcore by the cards themselves. They are the archetypes and the guideposts in the story, not the only thing defining the moment. So it's a really wonderful experience to get a reading from Wes. I highly recommend it. He's been around the Twin Cities as a reader for a while, and he's just been a joy to work with. So he has a number of spots he's taking. Right now, he's even taken our beloved Tracy's spot temporarily while she's recuperating from her various medical journeys, and he will be very happy to give her that spot back when she's back. But he's in today, he's in tomorrow for the first half of the afternoon, and then he'll be followed by Heather. Like I said, a very exciting, delightful younger reader. She really is wonderful and really, really tuned into her intuition. She's kind of delightful that way. Followed on Friday by Ravenwolf. Ooh, and I see that Daryl is not in here. Ooh, I've got to get him in the written schedule because I'm looking, I'll be honest, I have my cheat sheet here. I've got the sign. But Ravenwolf will be in from 1 to 4 on Friday. He is amazing as a reader. He's really good, really experienced, and brings with him a lifetime of really interesting experiences and educational opportunities that play into how he reads and how he works with the people he reads for. He's got some very ardent fans as a result. Definitely an excellent reader. I would highly recommend him. On Saturday, we have Eshu again for the first half of the day from noon to 3. Just delightful. And that's followed by Margaret. Margaret then comes in and does the latter half of Saturdays for us from 3 to 6. She is an exquisite reader, a delightful person. You'll really enjoy her. And she very quickly flew to the top of our most requested readers charts, as it were. Sunday, we have Eshu subbing in for Tracy. Again, Tracy, we miss you. We hope you come back soon. We hope you're doing well. And on Mondays, we have Morpheus doing dream interpretation 2 to 6. Tuesdays, we have Ravenwolf doing his readings again, and from noon to 3. And then he's followed by Jesse from 3 to 6. Jesse does runes. He's our only rune reader right now. And it's not often we get rune readers, so I love it when they come in. He's already started teaching a rune class, and it's been really positively reviewed. He's just an all-around good guy. Seems to be in a spot where he's really getting his life together in a beautiful way, and really, really knowledgeable about the runes. So it's always fun to like hear little snippets of his readings because he's just that good. And the person that's not on the schedule that I have left off, Daryl. I'm sorry, Daryl. Daryl is in twice a week. Daryl's in, when is he in? He is in on, I'm looking for those spots. Mondays from noon to 2 and Fridays from 4 to 6. So Tuesdays noon to 2, Fridays 4 to 6. And he is the only reader who's really just focused on an oracle deck. And it's the coolest oracle deck I think I may have ever seen. It is his oracle deck. There are 2 copies in existence. So if you want to experience the deck and his interpretation of his own deck, you got to come down and get those readings on Tuesdays or Fridays. It's a fun deck. It is 6-sided. Why? Because hexagon is the bestagon, right? And so when he does a reading, the cards touch each other. They're connected. And if he is curious about something in the reading, he simply builds off of that card that he's curious about and branches out into whatever direction the reading needs to be branched out in. The cards have the classic Greek elements on them of earth, air, fire, and water. There's interesting imageries. The placements are clear. It's a really great system, and his readings with it are absolutely phenomenal. I was truly blown away at what he nailed that he didn't know he nailed in my life. It's like, I don't understand why that card would be there. I don't. And he would throw more cards on it. And I'm like, I don't, you must be going through something. And when he was done, I looked at him and said, because it was the audition, so I have to be a tough read, right? I said, my husband died less than 2 years ago. And he went, oh, right? So he nailed it. He got it between himself and the deck. He got it and he went with it. He trusted his deck. He trusted his intuition on it. Could he figure out why it was doing what it was doing? No. The cognitive side was not what was supposed to be working. The intuitive side was what was supposed to be working, and it was working spot on. So totally recommend a meeting from him. He is a blast to work with. Just sweet as can be too. He'll be here next week, by the way, for a quick interview. So I'm looking forward to that. And what's happening? What's coming up besides the lovely readers? Come grab a reading. In case you're wondering, it's $2.50 a minute plus tax. And of course, we'll ask if you want to leave the reader a tip as well. But that said, here's what's coming up. I'm going to put my cheat sheet up so I'm not too far from looking at you guys. This Saturday, the 25th, Adam's astrology class is coming up. That is a by donation class. He will knock you out with his depth of astrological knowledge and the time he has taken to look at different ways of interpreting things and the conclusions he has come to. He's just not only really well informed, but smart as a whip about this stuff. And it's always good to hear his take on things. And the way he presents stuff for people just learning is priceless. It's absolutely beautiful. So I recommend coming in for that. On the next day, if you've got your Reiki 1, 2, or 3, come in and participate in the Reiki share. We just trade and chat. It's always fun when we get to do it. Now, the following Sunday in November, we're getting into November now, November 2nd, there is going to be an Intro to Gardnerian Witchcraft class before we open at 10 a.m. for 1 hour and 1 hour only. So if you're interested in that, come down, participate. It should be fun. Just a little introductory group chat this time. But if it's popular, we'll meet every other week and we'll just keep it going. Also that day at noon is Gateway to the Gods. So if you would like to have the opportunity to have a sample of one of our entheogenic herbs, learn a little bit about its chemistry, its folklore, just all-around knowledge about it, and go on a little guided meditation so you can take what would be considered a beginner baby dose as far as you can to see what kind of effect it has on you, how it enhances your meditation, how it enhances that mind shift. That's going to be coming up on November 2nd at noon. Do register in advance because some of those herbs take 24 hours or more to make. And later in that same day, we have the magic of Cyprian the Mage being explored by our very own Ravenwolf. It is going to be a fun class. This is an area of magic that he studied in his former life. So he has a very academic as well as a personal experience approach to it. And I think you'll find a lot of value in that class. That is a by donation class on the magic of Cyprian the Mage. The 8th of November, which is a Saturday, so it's the following Saturday at noon, we have the inauguration of the Alliance Coven's pre-initiate training, outer court, whatever word you want to use for that. I'm so looking forward to this. These are 3 fabulous teachers, formerly of another group, and I haven't heard from that group, so I hope I do, but I have not. But absolutely got rave reviews the last time they taught here under the auspices of that other group. They're coming back. They have some great new ideas, some things they really want to do in these classes that I think you will find interesting if you're at all interested in paganism, witchcraft, or Wicca. Highly recommend them. Later that day, Jesse will be continuing his runes class. It's not a class you have to have attended previously, but it is a by donation class where he's going through the runes, just a couple letters at a time, slow enough and in depth enough that you gain enough understanding of them to really make good use of them. Even if you've already got a rune set that you've played around with, it's still a really valuable class. I would still recommend this one. Because he's just going to go through them 2 at a time so that you get really grounded in them and that you have time to really absorb the information about each of the runes that are being discussed that day. So totally worth it. Then I'm moving a class. That's right. I'm sorry. I am moving a class. November 9th, on a Sunday, we were going to do an ornament class, and I can't be here. So I'm moving it to the 23rd at 1 p.m. This is an ornament class that is a fundraiser for the folks who put on Paganicon and Pagan Pride here in Minneapolis. So I'm really sorry I have to move it, but I have to move it to November 23rd. I'm just pushing it 2 weeks out. So hopefully everybody gets to come to that one. And this is the first notice. We're going to start pumping out that information today. And then, of course, I cannot not mention on Saturday the 15th, I'm doing a trunk show for Jerry's Imports. You guys have loved Jerry's stuff. And honestly, this is the one event where people stop what they're doing, take out their phone, and put it in their calendar. I've seen it happen more than once now. So it's Saturday, November 15th. If you have people to buy for the holidays that would like a bag, a scarf, and I'm talking cute little bags that, yes, I've seen adults buy them and love them, but I gave one of them to my 5-year-old at the time niece, and she adored it. She loved it. Up to like big bags that you could pack a computer into if you felt like it, if you were so inclined. So like executrix bags kind of things, and everything in between, lots of different styles, jewelry, hair accoutrement, barrettes, hair sticks, all kinds of things like that. All the little critters, the little bobble critters that we have, the little mini critters we have, the little stuffed, some of them are humans, so some of them I would think would make good poppets, but some are snakes, some are salamanders of various types. Oh gosh, what else? What am I forgetting? Oh, scarves. How could I forget the scarves? I've got 40 bajillion scarves down there. They're all going to come up. You guys will all get to look at them, see what you think, get that golf scarf for that girlfriend of yours or boyfriend or they friend, and get that really flowery one for the really romantic person you know, that aunt you have who needs flowers all the time. It's all there. It's just sort of amazing. There will be some hats, the best mittens I have ever seen in my life. They are knitted wool, and I can hear some of you going, ew, wool, itchy. No. They're lined. They're lined wool mittens, and they're not lined with some cheap, thin, fake satin fabric. No. They're lined with, I'm trying to think of the name, that fluffy, thick fabric. It's so comfortable and easy to wear. If it comes to me, I'll tell you. But the best mittens I think I've ever seen in my life. They're just gorgeous. They're mostly black, white, or black, white, and gray right now. I might have a few rainbows left. I'm not sure because I don't have a ton of them. But so nice, so very, very nice. And I will be gone during the latter half of that week. So everyone else who works here will be arranging tables in this room, setting the bins up here, and I'll come in on Saturday and do the final touches on getting it all set up for you guys. And then I'll be here from noon to 6. So you can all come and explore all of the offerings. You'll find a ton of stuff that makes fantastic gifts. I have thought for like 3 years now, I got to get everybody mittens. And I might have to do it this time because we might be down to the last few. These are all things from Jerry. And Jerry is a wonderful woman who imported things for many years. And technically now she's retired. She's retired to one of the countries she imported from that she really enjoyed. She comes back with bags. I'm not going to lie. There's a few things that she came back with this past summer that we've got, but they will also be in this trunk show in this room for that day, even if they're out on the floor right now. So yeah, think bracelets, rings, hats, mittens, scarves, bags, and little trinkets, little toys that you might do really well as little stocking stuffers or as addendums to larger gifts or just fun stuff. So come by and check that out on November 15th. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe the amount of time I've spent talking about all this stuff. So I do have a topic for y'all today. I'm taking this one off because this one it keeps sliding around. She's cute though, isn't she? And that is, a lot of people come in here saying, I want to find a coven. I want to find a group of people I can hang with and practice religion the way I want to practice it. It's a good question, and it's an important one. So how do you do this? I hate to say it, but you go on a quest for about a year is what I usually recommend, and visit everyone you can find. How do you find these people? Well, come and hang out at shops like Magus Books, like this one. Come to Pagan Pride, because there are usually groups there that are represented there that you can actually meet folks, ask them questions, see what they're like. And I would also look on online sources. So there are a few places online you can go and look to see if there are groups in your area. Witch Vox has been one traditionally that I would direct people to. Witch Vox, VOX. But because you meet a group, don't think that they're everything. Don't think they're the place you have to go. Keep looking. And the reason I say keep looking is because I think the people you hang with are as important as the religious expression that you're going to practice with them. So when I was a wee baby pagan and I was out and I was exploring and I did this and I kind of cheated. I was in college. There was a pagan group on campus. I joined it. I wound up running it the next year, and I just invited speakers in. From any group I could find, they came in. And so I learned I don't want to be a member of Group A because they're a little too aggressive for me. I don't want to be part of Group B because I'm 20 and that 50-year-old was kind of a little leery and a little flirty with me. And I'm 20, you're 50, you're older than my dad. That's just kind of gross to me. And that was my personal choice thing. If that turns you on and you're 20, I'm not going to stop you. I might question a little bit, but I'm not going to stop you. It's your life, right? But for me, that was a no. And there were other reasons, just personal social reasons that I didn't want to join Group C or Group D or Group E. And I wound up at a couple of groups that are with 3 spots I really liked. I really liked all 3. One was a Diana group that was run by a woman. I don't even think she was a boomer. I think she was Greatest Generation, right? Hardcore lesbian, like almost separatist, pagan woman. She led songs on a local talk show from the audience at one point. I mean, she really would put her foot in there, put her foot in that doorway and keep it open for people. But very much if a straight couple, hetero presenting couple walks up to her, she would talk to the woman and make eye contact with the woman. And and when she was asked about it, she would talk about pushing the pendulum to swing to the other extreme in the hopes it would settle in the middle, but that some people needed to see the other extreme in order to decide the middle was a good place. I don't know if she was right, but I know that's what she did, and that's how she explained it more or less. It was being in her house for ritual, going to her backyard for ritual was delightful. It was a place I could sink into and fully relax. It was beautiful to be there. Was it all women? Yep, it was all women. Yes. And it was probably the most eclectic set of rituals I ever attended. We were split into 4 groups to cooperatively decide in each group how that quarter would be called into the ritual, north, south, east, west. So it was a wonderful experience from that perspective. Just making things on the spur of the moment work was fabulous. And I loved that experience. There was another eclectic pagan group in town that I really liked, that I didn't find out that they were thinking about inviting me to join until later. And they didn't, because I told one of them I was going to join a different group, and I'll get to them next. But this was a place where I felt like I was appreciated for who I was, that it was okay to be me, and that it was okay to have debates and conversations and explore ideas. And that was an exciting place to be. And I loved being with that group and the members of that group quite a bit. Still have a fondness for all the people that I associate with that group. Even to this day, they're just wonderful people. And then the group I did settle on, run by a man and a woman, very nice folks in their own way. But they presented a very welcoming, very open space. And it's just where I wound up gravitating to. So that's where I went for my training, just first blush training from other people in any of this stuff. That group worked for me for over a decade. It was a really good space to be in for a very long time. Did it ultimately fall apart a little? Yeah, most of these groups do. I'm going to be honest with you. If you're talking about a group of more than 5 people, and most covens tend to grow to be more than 5 people, then you're talking about a group that will naturally split into cliques. And once it's split into those cliques, it's a harder ball game leading that group. Because now you're not just dealing with the individuals, you're dealing with those group dynamics where there might be splits between those 2 cliques, between those 2 groups. So I think it's natural for a lot of these groups that when they get larger, it gets harder to maintain a cohesive collective. It's not impossible, and I think it's worth striving for, because if you can do it in the coven setting, you can do it in the world, and it's a very good place to practice those skills. But it fell apart like many groups do. And by the time it fell apart, I'd already left, because I'd already left to form my own group in that tradition. And we're still kind of rolling along and having fun, but we've never gotten big. And we've never gotten big because of that experience of there being 16 people and it just being too unwieldy, too big. I can remember when it got that big, deliberately setting up social events that cut those lines. Let's just do a girls' night. I couldn't do a guys' night. Look at me. Let's just do a project. I don't care if you are male, female, in between, whatever. We're going to do this project, so only come if you're interested in doing this project. And by cutting the group that way, I think it certainly helped me, because I got to know people in different ways, because they weren't always in those little cliques, and that was valuable for me. But it's a tough row to hoe when a group gets large, and it's easy for conflict to develop, and it's important to learn how to reduce those conflicts. Gosh, I've gotten way off topic. But when you're looking for a group, those 3 groups that I was attracted to, the Dianic, the eclectic, and the more traditional, I didn't pick something because it was Dianic or eclectic or more traditional. I picked based on the people. The people mattered more to me than the specifics of the tradition per se, because I knew I could pursue any other interests I felt like pursuing whenever I wanted to. Why? Because I'm an independent human being. I don't think there's anything wrong with being in, say, 2 covens at once. This is my perception. You are welcome to disagree with me on that, and a lot of people do. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And when I think about occult traditions and where all of this came out of, with essentially upper middle class Americans and Europeans in the early part of the 20th century, here's the vision in my head, because it's true for a number of them. Well, I'm upper class. I have a nanny. I have someone to clean up after we eat. I have someone to cook the foods, right? So what am I going to do in the evening? I'm not going to play with my children. I've had them. That's enough work. I'm going to go out with my spouse, and we're going to go to the Co-Masons because it's Monday night. Oh, no, is it Tuesday? Oh, then we're going to the Theosophical Society. On Wednesday, we're going to, the theater troupe that's full of all of the people that I spend all of those other evenings with. And on Thursday, we're going to go to the, he's going to the Masonic Lodge and I'm going to the women's group for the Masonic Lodge. They did that. They would do multiple things on different evenings. So it's baked into the process to me that you might very well participate in more than one coven. And I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it's about loyalty to a group. I think it's about loyalty to oneself and being true to yourself. It's one of the reasons I will often suggest that you read or watch fiction that you like the ethics of the characters in, that you admire the characters in. So you might reread the same novel annually. I know lots of people who do that for decades in a row. I know people who read Tolkien every year. I know folks who've read other authors every year. There are books I go back to again and again. I like The Glass Bead Game, for example. But there's all these wonderful resources out there. Explore them all. Do not feel fettered by any of them. By all means, go through the training. I mean, if they say don't read book A until you've had experience B, fine, don't read book A until you've had experience B. I don't think that's that big a sacrifice personally. It's not saying never read it. It's saying don't read it until you accomplish this thing. Okay. Why? Usually because it interferes with your perceptions of the thing. Because if you read about it, it changes your perceptions because you decide what the experience will be before you have the experience. So go ahead, give yourself the gift of not reading the thing, have the experience it for yourself. And if anybody's wondering why I say that, honestly, one of the big things that I watched when I was in someone else's group was meditation exercises where we talked about the meditation experience afterwards. And it really was like those psychological experiences, those studies that were done where the subject doesn't know they're the only subject in the room. They don't realize that everyone in the room is in on the experiment except them. They think they're in a room of subjects. And somebody next to them says, oh, here's what I saw in the screen and the footage you just showed us. Okay, let's go around the room. You go next. And it goes all the way around before it gets to the subject. And the subject story changes by the time it gets to them to agree with what the group says. So unwittingly, that person's already participating in group think. And in our case, to avoid that when I do trainings, if we have a meditation, I ask people to write down their experience first. I ask them to concretize their own memory first before we talk about it. Because then I think the commonalities mean more about the human experience. I could go on and on about this, obviously, and I'm coming up on my end time. So standard advice, if you are interested in finding a coven, go explore, go play, and know that you have to hang out with these people a lot sometimes. We would meet 2-3 times a week for certain exercises we would do, and plus ritual. So it can be a lot of time you spend with these folks. They're going to become your friends in one fashion or another, and let that happen and celebrate it. It's part of the joy of being in a coven or working group of any kind. And never let it fetter you. Well, on behalf of myself and the rest of the crew here at Magus Books and Herbs in Minneapolis and online at magusbooks.com, I want to thank you for being, of course, your magical self. We love that about you. And we look forward to seeing you here at the shop or online at our website. In the meantime, have a delightful week and check out the little short videos that we put up on Facebook and YouTube. And if I can, on Instagram every day of the week. In the meantime, Blessed be.